A very tough segment for Dinko. I imagine he's going to need lots of stress
But he doesn't
relief.
believe in ViCi, so that means he predicts Checkmate to win.
Probably 2-0 as well.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, so I think he definitely will need a little bit of stress relief after this, or maybe during this match. Hey, he's got a little bit of time, but not too much. Luckily, as he said, it only takes a few minutes for him to get nice and calm and relaxed in his seat, which has recliners. You know that, Tom? Is his seat reclines out? Yeah, he can kick his legs up and assume a nice position to relax in. So anyways, as we go into this pistol round, you can see it's already a 3 versus 1, and Hawk is in a little bit of trouble. He's got a quick shot onto Kaze, but even with him being tickled down a little bit low, Zoking's on full HP there to support him, and Alman on range. I actually think Alman's going to die in this one, but no, he swings through and lands the shot first. 1-0 as ViCi pick up the pistol, and a good start for them on Inferno. Of course, this is Checkmate's map pick, and a map that they've looked pretty good on, but don't be fooled by the win rate. If you're looking at HLTV and you're thinking, oh, ViCi, wow, they've actually got a lower win rate. Well, this is Tyloo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times they've played Tyloo. Every time it's been close, except for the 16-2. Let's ignore that. And by close, I mean overtimes even. The majority of the time. They won 1 and they lost the other 4. They're a pretty solid team. I think that ViCi should be able to take this map. I think they should be able to take the next. What about you, Tom?
I'll be honest. They only lose to teams that are good. That's genuinely the truth. They don't get upset. They've lost to Tiger. They've lost to Beyond when they were in better form. They haven't lost. They haven't been upset. Like, it's always just teams that we could expect them to be beaten by. Zoking snapping back. Blitz. Oh. He's just going to get shut down. And that's the thing with ViCi. That's probably why, like, well, at least you, myself, and Blair really like this team. Like, not the hater Dinko, of course. But is the fact that they do manage to basically beat any team that is theoretically below them. Like Tiger, we could say, have proven themselves in the past. Beyond the same. Invictus at times. And Tyloo. They're the only teams they lose to. There's not really been any other matches elsewhere that we've sort of been surprised by. They lost to Tiger in this tournament. They lost to Tyloo. Every other match, they have won. So that's expected. Whereas Checkmate, on the other hand, dear Lord, they're confusing. They beat Huatsai. Fair enough. Then they beat Tiger. Okay, that's a surprise. Okay, they're versus Bren. Are they going to win? No, they're going to lose 2-0. That's the worst performance they've actually had in this tournament. Then they take a map off Invictus. Not bad, right? Then they beat Beyond, even better. They take a map off Tyloo, and then they lose 2-0 to Sigma. Like, what is this team? Like, it makes no sense logically. Now, some part of me wants to say, oh, they've done their research. They're very prepared for the better teams. Maybe they're not so prepared for some of the lesser teams, especially like that win over Tiger. That's probably the biggest surprise of the whole tournament now, looking back on it. But the loss to Sigma is the one that probably like hurts a bit for me as someone who started to really enjoy this team. Because I'm looking at them now and going, okay, are you actually going to get through? Because you lose today, that means what? They have one more match, and that will be against After, who've shown that they can go toe-to-toe with some better teams. If they lose that as well, they're not getting through. Like that's pretty much it. They'll have 3 wins. They'll be After will overtake them on 4. Obviously, ViCi will be above them anyway. And then you're basically like Beyond, Bren, and Sigma. If any one of them wins a game, which I'm going to tell you now, they pretty much have to based on how many matches are left, that would be them out. So realistically, they have to win another match. Nice shot from Blitz to start things off at least. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they've probably been my favorite of the newer teams. But at the same time, they've also then lost to some teams that I would expect them to beat. And I think a lot of that comes down to lack of map pull, as we'll probably see when we get onto Nuke, because I don't really expect much from them on Nuke.
I think that's very much a problem for Checkmate. As well as that, though, it is consistency. Like, this is a team that has shown us, not that they are the best of the newer teams, but that they can reach a level that is better than what the other teams have shown us. But do they reach it every single time? No. And that's the problem. You know, getting there consistently is the hardest part of any team. But the fact that they've shown that they know what real Counter-Strike is already puts them above some of the other teams within this tournament, within this region. And that's a large reason they managed to make it here. This is... Oh, that's unfortunate for Alman. He tries to fade back, and He just gets Deagle domed. Now, they don't have any utility to get him out of that position is the problem, right? Advent's the only one that still had a flash, and he's only rotating through CT now from B. And obviously they've left B completely open, but the bomb is down, and they know that, having just spotted it. They'll swing in with 3, and that's a nice, easy cleanup. That was one of the easier rounds to get things done, to catch players out of position anyways. Obviously the shots are harder having just a Deagle, but because there was basically no utility for the late round there for ViCi on the A hold. Now, though, they're going to have full util sets to deal with as Checkmate come into the full buy. And so I want to say then that means this is actually going to be relatively, at least for what we saw, like Alman getting caught out trying to fade back, that should be next to impossible for quite a while they still have this util to work around. Although I notice actually they've not preferenced the double flashes on a lot of players, instead going for frag grenades, which makes sense in a way, especially with it being Inferno. You can get a lot of choke point. I mean, you think about Banana alone, you'll be able to get a lot there. That said, Advent hasn't used his nade up yet, but I think he's planning on it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It was close.
I thought he wasn't going to spot him for a second, but then just the spam coming through the wall kind of gives it away. Crossfire of Jam Young and Zoking. Make that just Zoking. Shaky aim's not going to get anything done, but luckily Kaze has found a couple of kills in the mix. The issue of playing against this team is there isn't really a weak link. The only one that you can really talk about is Advent, and this is one situation, the only situation in the entire Asian scene where you can go, well, that's because he's a solid in-game leader. He almost got 3. That was ridiculous in itself, but he almost lines up 3.
Well, for Checkmate, it's not an ideal buy, you could say, Tom. But we do see a lot getting done with the likes of this kind of buy, and I think somewhat of it, some of it is down to the fact that you're able to play this much looser style. Hawk just swung on Banana and took the kill immediately, but that M4 isn't actually safe. If they get over there, I'm pretty sure they can pick that up by jumping up on top of the barrels. He threw it from quite a passive angle, which made sense. He didn't want to overstep the wood and get taken down. We'll see now in a second if they're able to pick it up. They should be looking for it. Maybe it did go a little bit too deep.
Oh. Hoping to try and almost sell this as a bit of a fake. Keep shooting and make as much noise as possible. It's going to keep 2 players into that B site, which leaves for an opener on A. Now, this is a map where pistols really can get the job done at times. I was always a fan of the sort of CZ Tech 9 fast rushes through short, especially once a lot of the utility has been expended. Now this one player has just pulled a full rotation. One player. And that's because that one player has just managed to kill off Soaking. They've fallen for this completely. The A site has been taken. Hawk has done an incredible job, and ViCi have pretty much fallen for a very, very basic attempt at a fake. I don't know, maybe it's just that they've got used to playing against some of the other teams who just don't do anything like this, like even just baiting out players, keeping them there. But the fact that they fully rotated, I'll be honest, Mitch, I'm quite surprised by that.
It could definitely be a case that they just looked down towards the bottom of the table and went, maybe we don't need to treat these guys with too much respect. I do wonder where they're at coming into this one. Be very easy to underestimate Checkmate because they definitely don't play the same silly style and silly brand of Counter-Strike that the other teams do. But one can only hope that coming into the next, at least, ViCi will be able to bounce back a little bit, you know? Realize that the team they're playing, they ain't going to be walked all over. As this is the last-ditch buy for ViCi, even with a 4-0 lead, losing that one round with the amount of damage Checkmate have been able to do with Deagles in their hands is really paying off. Combine that with the fact that obviously they saved over a few weapons, and they're in a pretty healthy position. The T side have a loss bonus to fall back on as well, don't forget. And I do like their approach. It's slow, it's steady. They're taking map control. They've pushed lightly into banana, so just around the tree. They're starting to poke and prod in towards middle. They've got flashes coming around. That was so perfect. I love it. Jam Young does manage the trade, though, but it gets a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too eager to pull the advantage firmly into ViCi's court. And so we do go into a 3 versus 4 with a very, very passive hold left on A, because Kaze, well, he can't really push over to the site and play there. He's just going to hope that they offer him up an opportunity to find a free pick before they push the A site.
Ooh, this is risky. I don't like this at all. The CT side are just trying to raw peek out. Now, Advent had a flashbang. Kaze, this is for free. So Kaz is going to hand his opposition with an extra E a kill. Wow. Gonna try and catch someone on the cross. The smoke has left him absent. Advent's gone straight through. This is ballsy. He'll go down for it. That seems to be the play. He's gone through as well. This is madness from ViCi. We talk about them being the calm and collected team. It seems like maybe they've been watching some Tyloo demos and tried to take some advice from that. I'm not sure I like how they played that round at all.
Either. Sure, I'm a big fan. Yeah, the reality is for Checkmate, they come into a position where that round was handed to them on a silver plate, right? You had ViCi, they were in a 3 versus 4. They pushed down Banana to try and gain that little bit of extra info, because Kaze, well, he's here in utility on A. He's stuck where he can't really defend, so they wanted to force the fight and a little bit of map control where they knew that they could possibly find isolated players. And imagine that had it worked out. If they find that opening duel, all of a sudden they've got the bomb. Or one player who has the bomb trapped on ramp. That could have been massive. Nade trades. You don't see that every day. And Molly, Advent's already pushed past it. He's up close. He's managed to retrieve a rifle as well. This is a fantastic start for ViCi, considering they've got basically nothing invested. You can't really complain about the early stage. But no, well, that's unfortunate.
Didn't see him. Like, they jumped almost into his crosshair, but I guess focused on other things. Jam Young, not that surprising anymore, that position. Maybe the first times things were like updated / reintroduced, that box or something people wouldn't check. Nowadays it's expected. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from Checkmate. This is the map that I think they've definitely proven themselves on. That's my only worry. I feel like there's not a team in this tournament that they can't beat on Inferno. And I genuinely mean that. I don't think I'd say that about anyone else. And in fact, they've proven that by beating Tyloo, who I think up until that match had a 94% win rate on it. The only loss they had was to ViCi in overtime. And that was like a one-off game. And then Checkmate came and did it in this tournament. So they've definitely proven that they're one of the best Inferno teams in this tournament. The problem comes with the rest of the maps. That they're just average at best. And I think that's why we've seen them lose some questionable series here and there. Even losing a match of Inferno to Sigma, which I have to say I didn't really see coming. But then when it comes to, like, for example, they played Sigma on Mirage and lost 16-3 in the same series. So it's they're a weird team to watch, but I do quite like the idea of this team getting a bit more time. Especially, we do still have to mention that although it seems like silly now because we are, what, 8 games deep into the tournament, like day 13. But Techno is still a stand-in. He's standing in for this entire tournament. I'm hoping that will change and that he will become an official member because he deserves an opportunity for someone so young. Obviously 16 years of age and playing a pivotal role in this match. But realistically, they've done well for what they have. It's just a shame that they couldn't be as consistent throughout the whole tournament because, well, they'd probably be in a playoffs position right now. I suppose technically they are, but you get what I mean. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams on 9 points. So that playoffs position is not looking likely if they lose.
And these 2 rounds are definitely building up. I'm looking at where Checkmate are currently positioned, and I like the fact that they send Kaz back down to Banana just to spot that out and make sure. I mean, look, ViCi just the previous round with a little bit of pressure, or the round before on the A site, they started to get a little bit aggressive in Banana. And considering they've got a 3-man stack, there's a decent chance they go for that. But they're deciding instead to just tuck away. They're playing it safe. They're hoping that Checkmate go for a push in towards this B site. And in the absence of that, they are just going to be content to lose A, send a few players to look for exits. Oh, Cheeky's got an AK. Good damage done. I mean, this is dangerous.
Okay, that's it. That's probably where the excitement stops for this round.
Yeah.
It seems like Zeus kills and nightmares on that A side of Inferno just seem to be a recurring theme with us in casting this match. But thankfully, that was actually how you should use a Zeus. Hiding in a corner and not in a retake. Take notes, Sakai. 4-3. Or 4-4, I guess you could say now. The timer is going to be ticking away. More with 10 seconds left. Likely the bomb will be going off.
Boom goes the bomb as we end up with Checkmate winning the round, but did they really? That's the question. I mean, for Jam Young, nice little taser, pulls out the AK, and he was so damn close. Look at that. Was that a headshot through the box? It must have been while he was running. Look at this. Bang! It was 100%. That's gorgeous. 4-4. I mean, that box getting in the way, although he was lucky that it even connected, considering he was moving, and not even looking at him. With a 4-4 scoreline, Checkmate, though, they do get away with the round, irregardless of the losses, regardless of the headshots through boxes. And I think, you know, looking overall at how things have been going, they're in a pretty good position. They don't trail immediately. It's not like they just fell behind after winning the pistol. They're in a position now where they've actually fought for their rounds. They've gotten the buy rounds on the board, with ViCi being the ones instead that are on the back foot because they're on the CT side and evened up, but also because they found the pistol. They found the easy kind of 4-0 lead, and they've just been slapped ever since.
Well, they only have one defender at the moment, Orman. He's going to hold on, at least for now. I'm going to be faked out. The spam through does a little bit of extra damage. Ultimately, things haven't gone too well. They've taken full banana control on the T side as well, so they're going to be able to know that they're only coming from CT. This is so much information gathered up by Hawk that retaking this is going to be really tough. Incendiaries being thrown out as well, and Jam Young setting up a flashbang, but they've only got 20 seconds to try and retake this whole site. That flashbang is going to have to be amazing, and it's a little bit late. Jam Young, he is going to be able to get a second, in fact, for the young star. And the trade's coming back and forth, but there's 10 seconds on the clock, and Hawk is still just hiding. He's waiting, and I think Kaze's made the realization, but he decides not to actually cover his teammate. It turns out there's no time anyway, and he will die to the bomb. I'm not sure what the decision was there from Kaze, because Zoking had a kit, unless he found that within the last second, and Kaze was just like, peace, bro, I'm out, I'm saving my AWP. Either way, we are going to have that AWP kept through. Let's hope it does a hell of a lot in this round to maybe make up for what just happened. Going to go for the peak. Obviously, the smoke falls down to deny any sort of Molotov. And the CTs, their purchase isn't amazing, but Zoking, a maestro with that 5.7. Going to go looking for the gun. He's going to be able to retrieve it and escape. The only problem being that they've also lost Orman on the other side of the map, so the spam through from Kaz is not going to be helping them out anytime soon. They've actually completely given up the B side, but that might actually help them out. Kaze is now going to rotate in. So has Advent. They had the stack right initially, and now they've retreated it elsewhere. As said, Zoking's retrieved an AK. Smoke's going to be going down into mid, but counter utility's already been expended. Nice shot from Jam Young. He can't quite correct his aim onto the second. But still Zoking lies in wait. Sat towards the back of the site. Looking for Techno. The support yet to come in. Rotation a little bit delayed, and the player in apps could end his day if he's not careful. He's going to catch one, though. Looks for the second, and the trade's coming back from Advent. It's left on to Kaz versus Kaze. And this time, the man without the E is going to take the kill.
That was really, really gorgeous by Kaz. I mean, he just swings through for those final two, pulls Checkmate up, and look, they're not dead. They're not down and out. They're definitely in a position where this is doable for them. 6 rounds, T side for Checkmate, in a position where they didn't win the pistol as well. That's the caveat. I could see a 6-4 scoreline if they won the pistol and went 3 or 4-0 up, and I'd be going, yeah, okay, but let's see the buy rounds. We've seen them, though, and we've seen ViCi look very good in them. I would be feeling some serious pressure goes on the ViCi side right now, and I wonder for this team, you always have to have this in the back of your mind, that they have had their A strategies, their B, their C, their comfort zones already wrecked. Now, though, they go for a one-man banana hold. Rotates to A, but Zoking can't hold on. Jam Young, good for 2. He just recovers that. Blitz on 11 HP. They have a 3v3. Oh, no. They have a 1v3 retake because Kaz has just absolutely annihilated them.
Yeah, this is impressive. I don't think that, like, obviously they've had a lot of, like, decent setups. I feel like we don't really need to necessarily highlight that because we've come to expect that from Checkmate on this map. But even just on their sort of basic setups where they go pushing in, they have these aggressive faces, they just seem to play as a unit. And it's very different to a lot of the teams that we see fighting throughout this region so far. I think we might actually have a good map of Counter-Strike on our hands, which is not something I've been able to say so far today. And Checkmate are bringing the fire. Like, they are currently 7-4 up on the T side versus ViCi. And as said, ViCi don't lose maps to worse teams. They don't lose maps to any of the qualifier teams. Like, I can even go through and just list the teams that they've played against so far. They played against Sigma 2-0. The score was 16-3, 16-4. They played against After. I felt like that one was a little bit closer. Well, one of the maps was 16-10. The other one was 16-1. They played against Bren. That was a 16-13, 16-14. So close, but still nobody managed to take a map. Even versus Invictus, it was a 16-10 and then an overtime victory. They don't drop maps unless, well, Tyloo and Tiger are the only 2 so far in this tournament. So Checkmate even putting up a fight against this team shows that there's at least on another level to some of the rosters we've seen so far. At the same time, I'll be honest, ViCi need to make a statement here. Like, this is them showing that they are on another level, and they need to do it. And this round might just be the start of that. 2 players looking to battle up the top of Banana. They put a 4-man stack, and they've left Kaze alone on A. Now, he's still a danger man. We've seen him get 3 kills from this position just a couple of rounds ago. And it's nice to see that he's finally on spot. And the T's, they've actually taken too long to rotate, Mitch.
Well, that's less than ideal. CT's in position, ready for them. Kaze has to hold on for just a moment, but his teammates are coming through. And the battle of Kaz and Kaze goes towards Kaz, but only for a moment. As eventually ViCi come through to finish that one off, 5-7. They are going to try to stop Checkmate, but at this point, it feels like you're grabbing the reins of a horse that's already running full speed. You're not on a carriage, you're on the ground. You're going to get dragged along for a little bit before Checkmate eventually slow down. They've got a lot of cash in the bank, so no concept of an eco and of a potential for ViCi to easily build up momentum. They're going to have to do this backs against the wall.
Oh, that is a nasty nade. 4 players damaged. Rue below half HP. Now ViCi, they win the round, but it's still not a clean one. Their money's not amazing, but this one's looking a lot better. Zoking starting things off with a double. Kaze even going back in for a cheeky peek of his own. The remaining couple of players have just opted to stay a little bit more passive. This rotation's quite heavy, though. This is a 2 versus 4. I can understand rotating over one man, but the whole team? Really, ViCi?
It's ambitious for sure, considering they've got the 2-man advantage as well, Tom. I really can't wrap my head around that. And the amount of time Almond's taken to get back over into position means that they could be just about around this corner. So he's got to move quickly. If he actually goes the full way around the coffins, they can already be on site by the time he gets here.
They only have one smoke, though. That's the thing that worries me. Is the likelihood is they'll use that for CT. Timing's perfect as well for a moment. A little bit of luck that goes a long way. That's the bomb dropped, and now his teammate can rotate in. They have smoked off the cross, and the bomb's been retrieved. But okay. I guess maybe he came up on the map from his teammate spotting him. Either that or that was very, very lucky.
It could also have been a jump from the railing to see above the smoke, because the player was up on top of the stairs. Although I do think it was just a lucky shot. There's a possibility maybe saw him on the jump around. Either way, 'tis all the same. It results in the round going to ViCi, in Checkmate going to Pistols. It's worth noting that, you know, even if ViCi... Excuse me. Even if ViCi do manage to pull it up on an 8-7 scoreline, it's not going to be positive in any way for ViCi. That is definitely a scoreline favoring Checkmate. They have done enough. They have built the foundations of a very solid half. And now the question is, can they turn that into domination? Because if they win the half, well then that's better than, you know, better to get 8 rounds than 7. It's some basic math for you.
Well, this is the crazy thing. We basically proven that the sort of the lore of like this team plus this team, or this team beats this team, so they should beat this team, is absolute rubbish. Because ViCi beat Sigma so hard, they only got 7 rounds over 2 maps. Then Sigma beat Checkmate, and now Checkmate are currently winning versus ViCi. It doesn't make much sense. Doesn't mean they'll close it out, but they've already got more rounds in this one map than they managed in the previous. Nice push. The timing of that was perfect. They know that Kaze can't quite re-peak fast enough, and they managed to get a couple of openers. They've even picked up an AWP, which is going to be in the hands of Techno. A bit lucky for Rue to get away with that. The remaining couple of players are very, very far behind. And Zoking, he's just hoping that someone gives him a peek, but Checkmate are not going to do it. They're just going to sit back. They're going to wait patiently. He has to start using utility to try and clear out some of these angles, and that's where they try and slow him down. 15 seconds on the clock as they do finally make this push in. Kaz drops another one with the Tech 9, and this is over. This round is done. Hawk has finished off one more, and what you talked about, if they win the half, well, it's not happening.
You know, Blah said something before we started this game, and it was, in ViCi we trust. Well, I don't think I'll be able to trust anymore. This is
gonna be like Dave. I mean Dean. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, Dave's problem is that he still trusts. Still to this day, he's with her. 72 times she...
I hope that's not true. Please don't tell me they're still together.
I don't know. I'm not friends. We don't really talk anymore. But
is that because you're casting him with me now?
It wasn't Dean. We didn't go to school together. Like, Dean's gonna be messaging me. Everyone's telling me to break up with my girlfriend. I'm single, bro. What the hell is this? Yeah, it was an interesting couple years.
Or Dean. So King under pressure. Shaky aim gets himself a second one. That leaves just 2 players remaining for Checkmate. Looking like ViCi are at least going to have themselves a 7th round. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say they can't bring this back on the T side. Of course they can. They are ViCi. They are one of the big dogs in this tournament. Well, Checkmate, from what we know, are the puppies. Definitely lovable, but maybe not quite potty trained just yet. Bit of a weird analogy, I'll admit, but I'm sticking with it.
I guess what you're saying is, you know, sometimes they don't make it to the toilet. Sometimes they shit the bed.
Or the floor. Or, you know.
Oh, God. I won't even attempt to imply what Blaze just said in the team speak.
It would be a beautiful moment if he was unmuted to the stream, but I assume that's not true.
That would absolutely make my day. It would make my week, actually. Checkmate 8-7. Yeah, as we said, this is a great first half from them over on the T side. Now it's time to put the money where their mouth is when it comes to defending. And I do like the setup they've got on B. So it's a relatively passive hold. But here's the thing. Techno's in position. He's going to try to bait him in. Then he falls back. Probably goes CT. So they're a little bit distracted. And then his teammates on the site, they pull it off. In fact, he goes to site, which makes even more sense because he can distract more. They'll spot a second player. And even if they kill them, suspecting the third to be there is very unlikely. And even if you did, you'd probably think he was CT.
He's reeling them in. Unfortunately,
spotted them all.
It seems like they've caught a shark. They've caught a shark. Like, they throw it back, run, or swim. It's not gone well. Yeah, it's not gone well at all. Jam Young, his teeth are showing, and wow, they're pearly white.
So obviously they wanted to just win off the aim duels, I suppose. It's a gamble, but if they left one player, so like the guy in dark and the guy backside both peaked, and then they knew Techno had gone close, so it pretty much just ruined any hope of them really catching them by surprise. Because here you go, look, I knew there was dark.
I guess it's the way you look at it, though. It's like, I would kind of prefer they tried to fight that together, because otherwise you're gambling on one player getting a multi-frag with a USP, which is, like, it can happen, but
it's true. My issue is more so the positions that they're in, they're not able to play off each other. So it's more like they're all fighting at once, but they're not fighting together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think also part of that comes down to the fact that I don't think they would have expected ViCi to buy a Molotov in the pistol round. Because let's be real, most teams don't buy a Molotov in the pistol round. True. So the fact that he gets mollied out of that corner is something that only would happen in this round. Like, the most you buy on the T side is a couple of smokes and some flashbangs. Barely anybody buys a Molotov. Occasionally you buy an HE just to try and nade at the beginning. They buy a Molotov just to clear out that back corner, and that's where one player's standing and one of them's very close, and they've seen the other one go in that corner. So it makes it impossible because Techno can't go anywhere, and the player in the back left of the site has to peek. So I think it partially I agree that, yeah, they should have faced together. But also, I just think that ViCi played that round really, really well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think ViCi did come out with a kind of left field strategy, not one that you'll normally see deployed. You know, within this region, half the nades that are bought don't get used in the first place. Never mind buying up nades on pistol round. And for Hawk, he's on a pistol round of his own because he's by himself. He's got a deagle. Maybe the potential to find some kills if they do hunt a little bit aggressively. You can see Jam Young already towards top mid, but it's not the first guy in you want to be taken down. It's the stragglers. As you can see, Zoking on middle. He's got himself a Galil. But Hawk makes the wise decision to not over push or over peak, and so he will save that deagle through. And again, Checkmate, one of the few teams that are using team skins. I love it. They've all got the same agent. That is what you need.
That's literally your favorite thing, isn't it?
And, dude, because it's like when someone, I don't know. It's like playing poker if you can't hide your facial expressions. It's like, you can still win, but I don't know why you didn't just spend the... It's not even... It's like just putting sunglasses on. I don't know.
Young's just been owned. He's waiting there with a MAC-10, ready to farm up some cash, and just gets double dinged by a USP. Kaz has got to be careful here. The flashbangs being thrown are actually doing quite a bit for the CT side. I like that they haven't actually invested as much into this round as you'd normally see. They've decided to save up some extra cash and just utilize the flashbangs. And hey, they've done a little bit of extra damage. They've caught out Jam Young. They're also baiting out a hell of a lot of utility from the T side, who are basically just launching everything they can to stop them. So that's going to be minimal rebuys. Sure, it's not amazing, but it's something at least. For Kaz, I just want to see him keep hunting. This is the AWPer for the team. You've got a Mac 10. You don't want to be using that in the next round unless you're mad. And yeah, he kind of waits a little bit too long. Unfortunately, no one's going to come in his direction now. So he's just keeping the Mac 10.
Figured it out, Tom. It's like going scuba diving without glasses. You can do it. It doesn't stop you, but it just makes it harder for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Or maybe a shark's going to eat your eye. You know, it's like one of those things.
I felt like that, like, eye is a little bit too specific for a shark.
A really small shark.
Really small shark.
What if a swordfish came and tried to stab you in the eye? Boom, hits your glasses.
That sounds pretty bad.
It's unlikely, but it's unlikely that they find info from the agent skins. But if they do, you're going to be sat there going, well, now I've only got one eye. I could have just worn the glasses.
Yeah, I felt like your analogies are a little bit more left field than some that have come up throughout this broadcast.
Everyone's almost been stabbed.
Everybody's almost been stabbed in the eye by a swordfish. Yeah.
If you've gone scuba diving without glasses, you know what I'm talking about. In water infested by swordfish, you know what's up.
Yeah, there's one-eyed Joe sat there at home going like, I relate to this.
Yeah, it's a common expression in certain villages. Never go scuba diving, and if
I felt like One-Eyed Joe sounds like a pirate's name.
It does.
Arr, One-Eyed Joe.
Sounds like some sort of sexual move.
Okay, moving on. Jam Young. He is taking control of the apartments. He spotted out Blitz, who, to my dismay, has decided to play the Mac 10 in this round. Not a fan. The rest of the team rapping through. Kaz can't pull off a hero move. And imagine if he had a rifle here. Imagine how good that would be. Be able to take shots that actually land range. Yeah. Not worked out. Wasn't the best of buys anyway. We are going to be seeing an 11th for ViCi. Blitz throws away his gun, only to retrieve it again. Now he's found another one, and there's somebody waiting for him. Oh, it's been heard by Jam Young, but he won't quite catch him this time. Blitz has run into the sunset. Well, gonna survive. Because it seems like the credits haven't quite rolled just yet. Jam Young is still looking to hunt him down. Seems like he has a decent idea. This is the classic save spot. He's hiding in the corner. I'd expect Jam Young to check. Never mind. It's so obvious that he didn't think of it.
We can ask Dinko if he's ever heard of the One-Eyed Joe afterwards. He's an expert on those kind of things. I do like that ViCi are making that comeback and just completely disproving as well, or rather completely proving the point that we were making about how in this region, you know, oh, this map is T-sided, or CT-sided, I suppose, for the majority. Doesn't make sense.
This map is a map.
This map is a map, yeah. There are two sides on this map. One of them will win. Like, that's pretty much how things go. You can't predict how a team's going to play in any way. I feel very sorry for people that calculate odds for these games. They've got to be even more infuriated than us. They're like, okay, right, so this team, they play really well versus this team. They're good on this map. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, well. Oh, okay, nice one by Hawk. He gets him falling. Good damage, easy for Kaz to trade out. I say about ViCi doing well on the T side. Well, Tom, that was short-lived.
Yeah, it seems to be like... it's not that I believe in jinxes, but at the same time, there are certain things within this region that seem to not make sense. Like, for example, the day where I said, this will be a quick day, and then it was the longest day we've had so far. It just seems like an odd coincidence. Yeah, it's not been going great in terms of predicting matches. That's for sure. I'm quite glad actually that no one has tallied things up at PGL, because I feel like our prediction statistics would be very, very low.
And Blair is, well, see, I think Dinko would win with his like half in, half outs. least
Well,
50%.
Technically, Dinko is
ViCi could win.
100% correct because he's predicted both teams to win every match.
Well, it's not he's 100%. It's that he's never been wrong on a game. That's the way, because he's technically got 50% because he's predicted both, but he's never been wrong. He always predicts the right team. That's the advertising way to say it. But yeah, I feel, you know what, Tom? I'm just gonna come out and say it. Dingo's inspired me yet again. I just feel like he's so brave. I'm gonna do the same. ViCi, 11 rounds T side. I'm calling it now. ViCi might win, but Checkmate could. I'm just gonna say it.
And they'll probably get to at least 12, and Checkmate will probably get to at least 9.
I see double digits for Checkmate.
Wow.
And I see double digits for ViCi as well.
Wow. Okay, well, Jam Young, he doesn't like that idea. He wants to deny Checkmate getting anything done as he entries with Zoking's support and Hawk. He's left a lot. All right, that was a bit cheeky. Sat to the back of the site. Zoking will finish him off, and that leaves just Rue and Techno. A single smoke, but some kits to their name. A tough position for sure, especially with the after plants already taken. Fairly passive positions from the two players within the site, and a crossfire. I'm not liking this spot from Zoking, but okay, if he's just going to hit headshots like that, then I guess it doesn't really matter. The chance for the opening dwindles, and Rue is going to have to run for the hills. Are you sure you want to stick to your bold prediction of Checkmate getting to 10? That seems a little bit over the fence to me.
You know what? I would flip-flop, but Dinko said earlier he does not flip-flop. He does add in the other team might win, but he doesn't flip-flop. Doesn't change his vote. He just waters it down a little bit. No, it's all good fun though. We all love Dinko. But it genuinely confused me earlier when he was saying Lowell, the former Movistar Riders player. That desperately confused me. I thought he was saying lol, like LOL.
Yeah, his name is Lowell, like Noel. Right?
Is it Lowell?
No, I'm just screwing.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure. I thought I got it wrong all these years.
I'm not going to pretend to know how to say it perfectly, but lol sounds best. 12-9.
Lol.
Rue and Blitz have had and Techno have had a very quiet series. Considering they've got 9 rounds, and you look at those 3 players, you'd be surprised. But Kaz with 20 and 14, and Hawk up there as well. They need someone to rise to the occasion. On the other side of things, well, it's fairly standard. Advent down the bottom of the board, and everybody else pretty much just getting through, getting done with the match.
I think that's a massive problem for Checkmate, though, because you can have Techno, Blitz, Rue all having that really weak game, but on the T side. But when you come to the CT, you're going to be punished for that. And you can see, look, they're just punishing Blitz. They're running out and taking him. But unfortunately, the molly was down, and the damage done just takes them out from the grave. Blitz gets that kill, and a man advantage for his team. Hawk is here. He has gone huge in almost every round for Checkmate. And look at this. He's got one. He's got damage done. And a 2v3 with the bomb down. This is a good position for Checkmate to play from. This is a little bit of a risky push, though. My God. And Kaz is going to push apps as well. What illicit substance has he been taking?
Might work out, though, just because of the position of the bomb. They have to try and wrap around onto short, and if he's holding with an AWP from the apartments, I don't really see a way that they manage to get this through.
I agree, and it has put them in a better position. But Tom, I want you to do a little thought experiment with me. Those players are walking back through apartments. They're holding for something happening, or they're just happen to be walking towards T-Apps. They walk into Kaz and take him down. Now it's a 2v2. That's a much more winnable position. I don't see the... I see the reward 100%. I mean, you could see it right there. The control they've got now, not having to worry about an apps push. But the risk... Oh! The risk was huge. But Kaze, evidently, he thought it was too risky as well and didn't expect him to be in that position. How could you really?
12-10. Your bold prediction of Checkmate getting to 10 rounds has paid off.
Oh, I'm relieved. I was so worried.
Congratulations.
It was a risk.
Some damage done by that Molotov as well. And It seems like their pit hold at least has been relatively strong. Obviously, that final kill was just a huge surprise for sure. Here we go. Still money in the bank for this round. Both teams are on the brink. The loss here could completely change the match. Kaz already getting the opener. He's been fantastic. Like, he's been great on the T side, getting a lot of openers while playing with the rifle. Switched up to the AWP on the CT side, and definitely been one of the difference makers in the round that they have managed to win. Now he's going to dominate banana control. The plan, of course, to set 4 players up on the A site, make it so that he basically just plays the information. If he gets a pick, fantastic. If not, he just falls back. And then they can rotate a player over. The flashbang, though, is good. And that's where the rotate should, in theory, begin. You can already see, slowly at least, Ruse going for it. Nice shot. Actually lands onto Kaze. He's denied them for now. This will split the defense a little bit more, but the fact is, they're already with a man advantage, so it's not as big a risk as it would have been before.
Well, ViCi, they'll be coming through banana when they come. And they'll be dying over at CT when they come. They'll be coming through banana, and Ruse just pushed on through the CT smoke. ViCi, they came through banana when they came. And so it's going to be a bomb plant. Nice pose. Ooh, Jamyoung's just been tagged up by that. They know he's close now. They've definitely heard that. And they've got a man disadvantage. This fight has to go their way. If Advent... Oh, no, Advent. That is just not pretty to look at whatsoever. A nade killed the Jamyoung in a 1v4. Well, RIP. A little bit of damage done, but it wasn't enough. I feel like there's a ticking time clock on how long Advent stays in the playing role.
It's one of those things where he's playing a headshot angle that doesn't hit the headshot. It's just unfortunate. Like, the positions he's putting himself in are actually very clever.
Yeah.
Because, like, the player, as they walk around the edge of the sandbags, can't see him because of the way that the sandbag works. But he had the jump on him there. That should, like, if you... the problem we have is if you put any of the other 4 players in that position, they probably hit that shot, almost definitely. So,
and let's play another little game. Advent switches to coaching role, and you get Neff, and you put him in these positions. You're good.
I don't know if Neff would work, but I would.
Yeah,
the only
Neff,
reason I say Ronin is because he's also Chinese.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point, in fact.
But yeah, you just put another Chinese player in there, like flying, for example.
Yeah,
it might like disrupt things because obviously I don't want to take away from the other things that Advent definitely does, like setting up utility, putting in positions the other players within the roster. It's not like he's just sat there going, "We will go here, we will go here." Like, of course, there's other aspects to his gameplay that, say, for example, you just straight swap him and flying. Flying's not going to be that good at doing that. So there might just be someone else that you could slot in. I do think it gets to a point where if he could train this team up, like I said it before, if he could train the team up while we're still in lockdown times, it could be fantastic, as he could have the coaching and calling and then have someone else in the server. But either way, this round is underway, and Kaz needs to land this shot. Doki's been doing well on the entries. Kaze goes down, and eventually Jamyoung will get the trade. He's left onto just 5 HP. There's an AWP available to him, and the bomb is going to be planted. 1 versus 1. A severe HP advantage for Techno. Jamyoung's looking in the wrong direction. He needs to turn around, and he guessed correctly in the end. Techno, he doesn't even need the HP advantage. Lands the headshot, rubs it in his face, and then goes to defuse the bomb. Right, he's 16 years of age, but he's got a little spice already.
I also, just to swing back to that point real quick, I feel like if you put Ronin in, it changes the dynamic of this team so much. Actually, what they'd be looking for, if you're going to be replacing Advent specifically, is someone who can actually play that support role, but also, like, if Ronin was willing to change up his play style completely, which, for a shot on ViCi, I think anybody would, really. Anybody from that level, anyways. But yeah, it would definitely put him a little bit out of his comfort zone, because as we said, when we look at Ronin's team, that you're very much expecting them to play around him. what we want is for them to set him up more. And you put him on a lineup like this, I don't know, he could even be the player that you want to set up, but then if you lose the critical supportive role that Advent brings to this lineup, it changes the dynamic so much. You can see at the moment. I mean, this ain't a hard strat to call, is it? Oh. Well, I mean, it was a nice setup for the CT side. They have just wrecked before these smokes or anything can come into play. A 2v3. It's not done yet. Oh my god, that was almost an elbow hit.
Almost traced him. Check his mouth. 2 versus 3. Gamyoung and Kaze. These are the two you'd want, but Gamyoung already low. Kaze in a good position. Not the easiest to clear, but if you go together, unless Kaz misses his shot, I don't see a way that this can end up as 2, but Kaz doesn't peek. He doesn't peek at all. And now Kazu's been able to reposition. The time is ticking. He's going to go for a second. He finds the kill again. And Kaz is still just waiting, hoping for someone to give him a chance. And even once it's handed to him, doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't have a kit anyway, and they're going to try and get rid of this AWP, making things very costly indeed. You may even just die to the bomb, trying to get out of there. Kaze's waiting. And while Kaz versus Kaze has mostly been Kaz's victory, but Kaze lets the bomb do the job.
13-12 off the back of a B rush that got shut down by a 3K straight away, and yet they're able to pull it right back, even having the man disadvantage. Have to really put the onus on those players peaking though without Kaz swinging, or vice versa. I'm not sure exactly what was happening in that situation, but they definitely had the need to go together. They did not use it. In a way, I understand Kaz sitting there holding the back angle, hoping that they peak, but it is a risk, and if it doesn't pay off, well, then it doesn't pay off. And you look at some of these guys, I mean, look at Rue, Blitz, Techno, they're all 52, I guess, or under ADR. It's been a really, really rough series for these guys. Considering it's such a close game, that is heartbreaking. Because Techno, I mean, he's been the god tier stand-in, the player that came into this lineup last minute and delivered far beyond what we expected. The man didn't even have the kid didn't even have a HLTV profile before this tournament started. This is the first relevant tournament that he's been in. And he's delivered. He's impressed us from start to finish. And just knowing that, you know, oh my god, what?
Well, Blair's got his clip of the day. There you go. 3 kills, spamming with the deagle. I don't think any of them were headshots either. That's absolutely ridiculous. It leaves 2 players standing. Hawk, he's going for the ace. There's only one man standing in his way. It's Orman to try and save this, and Hawk is going to ruin ViCi's day. He's up to 26 kills in this match. And while Blair, get ready for the clips.
Like, I'm in a spot where I'm having a chat about Techno because of the buy that they've got, and ViCi, they poked the hornet's nest. Look at this. Why are they running into a deagle? They know that it's a light buy for Checkmate, and they made the mistake of rushing B before, and now they rush apps. This is madness, Tom.
Yes.
Jesus, what is that decision? Oh, Advent. Well, he's a great IGL. Makes amazing decisions. Like, yeah, I can see the value you bring there. It's ridiculous. That's such a silly mistake.
Oh, they're going to run through the Molotov. They've actually managed to overwhelm one, but the spam through the smoke back in response is likely going to give the lead over to Checkmate. Also, the amount of money they've spent into this round, is it not too much to buy in the next? I don't feel like their loss bonus should be very high. If anything, I feel like they were the ones that were winning a few rounds here. So I'll be interested to see. Maybe I've just misread that completely, but yeah, last time okay, maybe it's not as bad. It's not awful, but like they lost 3 rounds in a row, then they won one off the back of Kaze. But even still, that loss bonus will be what, like 2,400, I want to say, and that's still not going to be amazing for the next round's buy. We'll see how this works out for them. They're going to rush towards the B site. There are 2 players currently waiting for the Mitch. My feed is frozen.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Techno's wrecked him with a little 2K. And it's 14-13. As I said earlier on, you know, ViCi could win, should win, but Checkmate might. The Dinko predictions. And looks like he's right yet again. We're in this spot where I such a depressing round to have lost it on as well. Like, this should be 14-13 for ViCi. No, not even, because they wouldn't have been on pistols, because they wouldn't have lost to a Deagle.
Oh, I was sort of right about the economy. It's Advent on a UMP, Khalil up for Orman, and the rest of the players have some utility missing. So they're going to have to rely on individuals. Here they go running through the smoke. A big risk taken to try and gain banana control. It does work out for them this time, although the repeat from Zoking's a little bit far in front of everyone else. Smoke's falling on both sides, and the T's are now going to try and double back with Jam Young looking to lead the charge. The thing is that they haven't baited any rotations. They may have thought that they have, but Blitz instead is going to be in a great position. He goes peeking, though. Jam Young is met with one. He doesn't expect Hawk around the corner, but now the remaining two know. The nade going to be bounced out. I like that. A bit of a cheeky nade, and he's just trying to slow them down as much as possible. But Hawk actually decides, right, let's play this as a retake. Bomb going down. Rue, a little bit slow to rotate. The worry for me is this man here, Kaze. He can be such a problem. Kaz goes jumping past the angle. Oh, that shouldn't have worked, but it did. And now the maestro himself, the mind of ViCi, needing to be the brawn. He gets the first headshot. One of the players is desperately low. If he can get the second kill, he's found it. And now it's left all on to Kaz. It's just got to try and clutch out, and he faces in the wrong direction. There's a kit available as well, so he'll have enough time. It was a nice attempt from Advent. It did look like, for someone who's experienced as him, he did panic a little bit towards
a little bit, yeah. Left, right, where's
that
he
looks
gone?
like, yeah, that looks like me, like, ah!
Like me playing Alien Isolation when I hear like a noise on the ship, like, what was that? Like looking all around, doing 360s, staring at every little like flash of light that I see. He was panicked like crazy, but he made the decision that it was probably going to be a swing to the left. It was unfortunate. Really good timing on that peak by the CT, and 15-13. ViCi on the verge of losing a map that, yeah, okay, it's not their best map, and it is the one in the series where you could give the favor to Checkmate, but I wouldn't even have. Looking at the win rates, yeah, sure, you can make the argument that this is a better map for Checkmate, but if you look at the actual games, as I said, they played Tai Lu here 5 times. They got smashed 16-2 once. Other than that, it's been a 16-14 loss, I think 2 19-17 losses, and a 19-17 win off memory, but they're very easy to remember because they're all the same, really. It's a position for ViCi where they shouldn't be losing to Checkmate. They shouldn't be making decisions versus Deagles to rush apps. They shouldn't have been over-rotating on the first buy round when it came to their CT side, where they left B completely open. Then a few rounds later, they left A completely open from really light fakes. And it feels like we've seen a very different ViCi. Not a ViCi that's calm, collected, but one that's coming in loose. And that scares me, because this is not a team that can abandon their heavier thought process, because they don't have the individuals to play the way Tai Lu do, and to kind of sit back and cruise through a series in that same fashion.
But that is the weird thing as well, is that currently, like, none of the like big 4 players that need to do the majority of the damage are playing particularly bad. The crazy thing is that it's 2 players from Checkmate which are currently dragging them through this match. One of them being Kaz, who's just hit his 30 bomb. He might be pressured once again. He's the solo defender. He's going to get overwhelmed by Kaze. And that's a fantastic start to this round. In fact, that's a fantastic end to this round. 1 kill. 1 kill is all it takes for the B site to fall.
It's a good sign, at least. 15-14 on the board. Checkmate saving with that economy. They'll be looking into a comfy buy for the next round, but I wonder how they'll perform under the stress. In some series, Tom, we have these positions where it doesn't really matter whose map pick is whose, right? But I feel like coming on to Nuke, that is beyond relevant. Like, if you look at ViCi, Nuke is their map. It's where they play pretty damn well. If you look at Checkmate, they played it once. So, not great.
Yeah, again, like Nuke's one where they've only had losses to Tiger, Invictus, and Beyond. And all of those maps, they hit double digits. One of them was a 16-14 in July. So they're a very good team on this map. It's one that, like, for a long, long time, Tyloo didn't play it against them. They finally decided to, and they lost. So it's one we expect ViCi to win. If they lost that map, then I would worry about the roster. For now, though, I think Checkmate are just showing again that this is a map that they are very competent on. I'm sure maybe it's not been in the way they would have desired with like everybody performing, but at the same time, I think just for individuals on this map, they feel very, very comfortable. So at any moment, any player can step up and bring them through a round. And you know what, Mitch? That is what they need right now. In the next 1 minute and 15 seconds, they can deny ViCi from taking this to overtime, get another victory on Inferno, prove they're a team to fear on this map at least, and have an advantage going forward into the next two. If ViCi get it to overtime, however, that's where I start to fear that this could all be going wrong.
Oh, that is a brave, brave swing by Jam Young, the man who's done so much for this team in the past. Won't be doing it here. With his loss, they've spotted a player on long. There'll be no repeat there for Kaz, even with that flash he's thrown. And his teammate chucked one over as well and double flashed it. It's heavy commitment to utility, in all honesty. They've got nothing left over towards the site. Just Techno with a single flashbang. He's playing on B. Or Hawks actually got one, sorry. But I don't think he's going to get to use it. Blitz being blitzed on. One more kill for Advent. And hold on. They're going to get a bomb plant. 10 seconds left. It's going to go down. And it's a 2v3. Zoking low HP. But Tom, the advantage of being low health on the A site. They're planting, yeah. The advantage of being 2 HP on the A site is that you can play in pit. But actually, Zoking is playing on the site. Maybe just panicked, right? You don't want to be caught on the rotate to pit. But that's a shame.
It took so long to plant that, I genuinely started to panic. Like, it just took ages. Techno. He's surely dead here. Yeah, doesn't pick the angle on Rue. He's surrounded. There's no way he wins this round. ViCi have pulled it back from the depths. It's been a good performance so far. This is what I mean, though. 31 and 29 kills for Kaz and Hawk. And then the next is 13. Like, it's a few of their players having some of the roughest performances we've seen on this map. I'm pretty sure the last time they played, Blitz was the best player in the server. He's completely absent, and they're still into overtime with the likes of, what, like Kaze's playing well, Jam Young's playing well, Zoking's been playing well, like Orman, as you could see, he's up to 18 frags as well. It's not even like ViCi are having bad performances. I think we genuinely do almost have to start questioning whether or not Checkmate are the best Inferno team in this tournament. Not the best team, by any stretch of the imagination, but the best Inferno team. The only real mark they have on their record is the fact that they lost to Sigma, which still makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat there. The Sigma loss definitely doesn't make any sense, but here we go. We're jumping on into overtime, and the first round's already live with Kaz, taking quite a bit of HP damage and swing. Oh my god, that's so good. So he goes back for banana control. He catches a kill to Alman and manages to get away unscathed. Great opening advantage. Ooh. And the spam onto Advent. That just builds it up even more so in their favor.
The T's are going to look to still push in this direction. Jam Young left to lurk. He got 10 assists. I always feel bad for someone when they have 10 assists. I know it's extra damage. That's not what the game's about, but you never like to have 10 assists. 3 players currently holding down the fort on this site. One of them being Hawk, who, as said, he's been fantastic so far. I'd love to see some sort of nade stack utilized to try and clear out the pit, because they've really struggled to deal with him throughout this map, and they're actually going to go back. Kaz now sat towards the back of the site, a position that can be relatively difficult to clear. Now, they do have multiple Molotovs available for them, but they've decided to just push this dry. I can't think of a worse idea for ViCi in this round, as they finally decide to use the Molotov, but it's too late. Kaz has destroyed them. A 4K to reach his 35th kill in this map. Checkmate take the lead once again, and ViCi, oh, they got to try and break them once more.
This is so odd, Tom. ViCi or not, okay, that opening duel, fine, it goes away, no problem. But then to go in here dry, the util not thrown over. I mean, that it is eventually, right? But they've already got a player out to pool by the time it goes into dark. Obviously, he was the one that threw it. They kept on facing. They gave every opportunity over to Kaz, and you cannot be doing that. This Checkmate squad is one that can punish you. We brought this up in some of the initial rounds. This is a team ViCi need to treat with respect, and it is honestly looking like they're coming in with their brains turned off. Even Jamyoung Jamyoung can't get access. The timing's so good, but Blitz, he jumped, probably panic jumped on the scroll wheel, but then as he lands, he still gets the headshot. Advent's left in a 1v4. Not a player you look to win those kind of scenarios, and he can't do it. 17-15, the final round of this overtime, half number 1, is coming up, and if ViCi lose this, that could be the end. That could be the end of this map, because 3 consecutive rounds versus Checkmate on the CT side, that's doable, but it ain't gonna be easy.
One of these teams is playing like they are the out-and-out better team, taking aggressive peaks, individual fights, and dominating the server. The other team, Mitch, is ViCi. That's the thing that blows my mind. Like, Checkmate are dominating these duels. They are taking peaks I would never expect them to make and winning them. This is a team playing with out-and-out confidence. Blitz in that round aggressively took a fight in the middle of the apartments. Just stood there in the face. He's had a bad game, and he was willing to do that versus Jamyoung, who we've been pretty much talking about as the best player within Asia. They are playing lights out at the moment, and they've got this crossfire. Nice entry kill from Zoking once again. Hawk, Techno chime back in a matter of seconds. Switching over to the Deagle, still wanting to fight. Could have reloaded, decided against it, but Techno is still looking to hold the line. He'll eventually be cleared out, but it's this man once again. There's no saves in this situation. There's nothing for the next round. Kaz is going to be going for it. He doesn't connect the first shot, and Orman will secure at least 1 round for the side of ViCi Gaming.
38 kills on Kaz as we end overtime half 1. This guy has been insane. We've seen 38 kills before in a map loss, Tom. I have a feeling this guy's going to be hitting 40. The thing is, maybe that results in a win this time, though. Considering some of his teammates are only just breaching 10, you got to give the man props. He's been nuts. ViCi have lost a player. Attack pause comes through, and I mean, it benefits everybody a little bit more time to talk about what they want to do coming into this opening round, a very important one. And Tom, it is for ViCi. I think pretty disappointing that they've ended up this close versus Checkmate. And one small slip up here, 1 round lost, and they're fighting for another overtime.
Well, you know, Jamyoung's about to come back as Jam Teen, and then they're gonna be screwed. He'll be in his prime. He's gonna just show up next level. He's gone Super Saiyan, and yeah, they're about to get absolutely wrecked. His hair will have changed color as well. I heard that's the thing that happens in those shows. It's gonna be like bigger and like more yellow, I guess, and he's gonna be going for about like 5 minutes, so it might take a little bit of time. That's already happened to Kaze, of course. That's what's with it. That's why his hair's out of place. The rest of them are yet to go super in this situation. But yeah, it's funny because I'm talking about a show I've never watched.
I watched the show a bit, but I played all the games. That was the That was my thing as a kid. I'll never forget how annoyed I was when I played Dragon Ball Z a lot. And then I went to my friend's house. I brought it with me, and he wrecked me. I had this friend in school, Shane. He was always just good. Luckily, girlfriend never cheated on him 72 times, just 15. But he was actually sick at everything, at all the games we played. He was really good, especially Mario Kart. He was the best one in my school at Mario Kart. It was so annoying. I think that's why I got into gaming properly, because I just wanted to like grind so I'd be better than him. And then I got addicted. And here we are.
Great. Glad you've had your nice little trip down memory lane.
Yeah. You brought it up with Dragon Ball Z. I can see Kid Buu extending his big pink arm across the screen, punching me. Because I'm, what was I? Android 17, getting wrecked. It wasn't fun, Tom. It wasn't a good time.
Okay.
Scarred me.
Well, thankfully the game's about to begin. I don't want to hear anything else about a big pink arm. I think Dinko's brought that up enough throughout this broadcast so far. But we are going to be going into what could be the last couple of rounds of this match. Checkmate looking to try and take this over the line. Of course, ViCi needing to get the remaining rounds within this OT as they head into their CT side. Kaze back on his trusty AWP, and they're going to take deep control, or at least bait out that they're taking control of Banana. The smoke is more of just a ruse. And in fact, they've not really spotted anything out. In fact, because of that, they're starting to believe that there might be some pressure coming into the apartments.
Up through middle, a spam straight away. A risky move by Kaz, but I guess he is just feeling it right now. And hey, if you're feeling it and you're getting 38 kills, I'm going to let you do whatever the hell you want. They're going to start to back off a little bit. Utility's going to come out for long from Kaz, at least it looked like. Oh, there it is. Just didn't come up on the map first. They've got that smoke down, and you've got a position now where Kaz is looking to spray through it, try to find a little bit of pressure, and apply that to Zoking. And now they're moving back down towards the bottom of mid. The problem with this is, if that was to be a fake, if they were to go B now, I'd be heavily critical of this, Tom, because you throw smokes, you make noise, and then nothing. And so it becomes very obvious. And I actually think what they were trying to do here was beta rotate towards the B site, but that's just not happening.
Kaze, there's a firing squad on the other side of this wall. They're going to go walking in. The first one is handed to him for free, and the time is ticking. They need to get a move on. Zoking has spotted the push. They should have started their rotation, but the remaining players on B are just sitting pretty. Kaze's got this. Well, you're wrong. He doesn't this time. He's going to fall. Jam Young struggling in the pit, and one by one they fall. It may only have 10 seconds on the clock, but they're going to get this bomb down. And the remaining players, well, there's a reason we don't like 10k overtime, because the right decision here is to save.
So dumb. They're actually going for it. I respect it. In the position they're in, 16 to 17, they can buy next round.
Ooh.
So why not? And okay, why not now? Absolutely. Alman is low, so it's all on Advent to get this done, really. He's got his flash lined up. No one must cover him. They could have just swung and took that peek. He flashed the site player. The Techno had actually turned away. So he was able to take that kill, close out the round now with the save of Alman coming through. Very exciting stuff with him saving in the pit. And Techno's even hunting. He won't be hunting in the right direction. Alman tucks away for long enough. Oh, he might be spotted. Techno wisely runs up middle. Or Alman, rather. That's 16 to 18. 2 consecutive rounds now needed back-to-back, or else we'll be finishing things here and going on to map number 2 with a 1-0 advantage for Checkmate. As I said, I still think Nuke is going to be easily ViCi's. So this pretty much confirms 3 maps if Checkmate can win one of these rounds.
Advent getting a taste of his own medicine. He's going to throw a nade back in response. Again, he chips away at a few different players, but nothing to really write home about. About 40, 50 odd damage. Orman getting ready to throw the smoke down. It is looking like they're just going to burst into the B sides. And that's one thing I really will critique ViCi for, is their rotations have been incredibly slow. It's almost like they're playing on hard mode. There's never anybody there in time. They stick to these standard setups. They don't have many gamble stacks. And because of that, it's very easy for Checkmate to take either one of these sites. The boost up over the top is risky, though. Kaz has handed a kill away, and that's not what you want to see in a team that are close to taking this over the line. Rue is surviving on his last legs in the corner of the site, but the time is ticking. The counter utility has bought them some extra moments on the clock. 20 seconds for ViCi to stay within this map, and it doesn't look like it's happening. They're being picked apart, and Checkmate have done it again. They've beaten ViCi, they've beaten Tyloo, and almost cemented themselves